Shut up and sit down. Shut up and sit down.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of Build, Paint, Play. I'm Dave.
Greetings, programs. I am Jake, and we are joined by our good friend Blair Mackey, another ex-GW guy. You'll never guess.
There he is.
There's a lot of us.
Yeah, we are everywhere. We are insidious.
We are indeed. Hi, Blair. How are you doing? Welcome.
I'm doing great, Dave. I appreciate you guys bringing me on here. I kind of feel out of place because you have some really super talented people that come on here, and I was like hoping you're not going to ask me to paint anything while I'm here. So
no, we
not
won't
this
have to
time.
paint anything. No, all good. It's nice to have a balance
Yeah.
across the spectrum, right? But no, anyway,
I can be that yin to your yang for sure.
Fantastic, excellent. I'm just going to say hi to some folks in the chat. We've got Dave Hummel here. Mark Maxey is here. Good evening, Mark. Luis is here. Josh Potter is here as well. He says, build, paint, play, mow, lawn, laundry, lather, rinse, repeat.
Solid.
And we've got Josh Sawyer as well. He says he's walking his dog, so make it extra good so I look nuts when I start laughing at nothing. We'll see what we can do.
I can't make any promises. I
like whimsy, so it's going to be a struggle for us. Well, for me. We'll have to leave that up to Jake and Blair. But anyway,
I'll do my best.
Excellent. So yes, whew, big week. There's been a lot of stuff going on that we've had go on in this week.
Yes.
But as you know, Blair, we always start off the show talking about things that we've been working on, hobby-wise. Go. What have you been?
There we go. Good plug. Well, I'm ramping up for the launch of 11th because.
Okay.
I'll kind of talk a little bit about how I got into this crazy industry, but sci-fi tabletop war games, 40K has always been a passion of mine. So I'm very excited about the new box set. I did pre-order from my friendly local game store. So orcs. I think I was joking with you before the show. It's like this is my 7th orc army, folks. Don't ever sell your models. It's just. You'll regret it, and then you'll just paint another army. So 7th army of orcs, but this will be the best for sure.
Fantastic.
The best. Yeah,
who's your local game store?
So it's actually a store in Haverty Grace called Card Raid. He started as a kind of Pokemon exchange card kind of thing, and he brought in tabletop war games, brought in some board games. So Trent over there, he's really, really super helpful. I do wander down to Critical Hit in Bel Air as well.
Cool.
So the guys down there. And of course, when I really, really got a lot of money in my pocket to spend, I'll go down to Games and Stuff and give it all to Jeff Hall. So
Right.
because
Fantastic.
they have everything.
Yep. I was just there on the weekend planning my next weekend's purchases.
Yep. But besides the orcs, I just finished assembling a really, really big Eldari army. I can't decide what the theme's going to be. I pretty much have most of the aspect warriors. I'm really thinking maybe like the Wind Riders, though. It's just paint lots of red and just have lots of jet bikes. We'll talk, for over the next hour or two here, but I don't necessarily do something that's kind of meta or I think it's going to win every game. If it's a cool theme and I'll lose every game, I'm happy. It's just a very, very, it's a cool theme that goes along with the army selection. So I don't know how well that will play. I know there's a lot of buffs they get based on the detachment rolls and the heroes you put in with the units. But just the idea of just having just an all vehicle army skimming across the battlefield, everybody's moving at least 12 inches. I think it'll be fun to play.
Yeah. Well, I do have to say it's got there's Eldar in the name, so it's going to be great. It's going to play well, right?
It should.
Yeah. I can't think of an edition where they didn't play well. So I'm not
sometimes better at the beginning of the edition as opposed to later as tournaments and exploits go on. But I've lost many a game to an Eldar army. So
I think it's in Gav's contract. I think Eldar have to be good in every edition. I think that's
right.
Well, what was really funny was when I got started playing 40K, it was like literally 4 of us, and everybody picked a faction. And my friend Kevin and we actually did rock, paper, scissors to see who was going to play Eldar, and he won.
Right.
So I never got to do my Eldar army. So this is the first Eldar army in playing 40K for 35 years.
Right. Nice.
Eldar army. So
nice.
Yeah, I don't think I've run Eldar since 5th, I think.
Yeah. I've painted Eldar, but I've never played them. I never played with them.
I have a bunch of the
elves,
the Corsairs.
Yeah.
Like the elf pirates, like the old school dudes, but the new sculpts are amazing. Like the Corsair warband looks amazing. They're super cool. But if I was gonna do Eldar, there's that part of my brain that still wants to do the old school Bealtan Swordwind host, where you have it's fun because you get to do all the aspects. You're I have a squad of Howling Banshees, and I have a squad of Fire Dragons, and I have a squad of Dire Avengers, and I have a squad of Swooping Hawks. Your army looks really cool because, and also for somebody I get a little bit of sort of pattern fatigue. You know what I mean? Sure. If I'm I get to paint 50 red Marines, and I'm okay, so with Blood Angels I get a little bit of a break because I'll be I'm going to paint the Dante, and he's gold, and you're okay, cool. And then it's I'll paint some more red guys, and it's I get to paint some Death Company, they're black. So you have to break it up. But with that Swordwind host, every squad is completely different. So you only have to paint, if you have an Exarch, I guess, or if you run somebody with them, you're only painting 11 guys that look the same, and then you move on to the next squad. So it's Scorpions, so I'm going to do greens and black and yellow, and I'm going to do all those guys. And you're I'm going to jump to I'm going to do a squad of Wind Riders that are with us. So I'm going to do 5 Samhan jet bikes, and then it's I'm going to do a squad of Swooping Hawks, and then so I like that. I like that ability to be it's like you're painting 7 different things instead of one big army. But
that's a good point. I've always been impartial to the Ulthway color scheme. I just like the black with the bone.
Right.
I just thought it looked really cool. And I, again, being thematic, I had this idea I was going to do an all Wraith army, and then I just realized how bad Wraith Guard are in this game. Don't get me wrong, don't care if I lose, but I just want to have at least a fighting chance.
Part of that is because they were so good in the
exactly
7th or 8th, when they all had D weapons, and you're wait, what? And it was yeah, all their weapons are D weapons, and you're that seems terrifying. And their whole army was oh, I hit this unit that you yeah, I rolled a bunch of 6s, yeah, they're just gone. You just wiped stuff out. James says in the chat, bring back the Court of the Young King. That was awesome when you could run all the Exarchs with the Avatar. That was insane. That was a good unit. That was a fun time.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Not broken.
How about you, Jake? Have you had a chance to do any hunting?
Yeah. So I'm building a Knight Destrier, the new sort of not huge Knight. It's like the
mid-range.
Yeah, it's really really cool. Really really nice kit. There's a ton of options with it. One of the weirdest things is, so you remember those? I don't know what the heck they were called. It's almost like it was like a plastic kid's toy, and it had like it was a horse or something, right? And then the bottom was springy. You could press it in, and the horse would collapse because it would like take away the tension on the elastics that were in it.
And they were like orange and yellow and weird.
You remember what I'm talking about? So it was all like you could turn it like a marionette almost. So the Destrier kit is very similar to that in that there are so many options and there's so many things where they show you on the instructions. They're like, okay, so we're gonna build his arm. So it's like you're gonna glue this piece together, but don't glue the elbow joint, and then don't glue the wrist. And you're like, so you glue it together, and then the arm moves like this, and you're like, that's cool, except when you stand the model up, he does a lot of this marionette kind of thing where he like dangles around. So I've been dry fitting everything, figuring out what position I want them in, and then gluing them in that position just because I was like, I don't need my Knight to be like somewhat. It's not really an action figure because like there's no real firm points, but like
there's no friction.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's very, 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 very posable, lots of options. And you can build it like the safe way, which is they have a bunch of, like on his legs, for example, there's a bunch of like posts and sockets. So you can build it so that the leg doesn't move, or they tell you can cut off that and then the joint is flexible. So they're like, you can build it this way or you can build it this way. And I'm like, or if you cut that tab, you can build it like that. Like you can change it to however you want. So I've been trimming all those off and like I said, dry fitting it. Really, really cool kit. There's also a bunch of stuff that I loved, which is they have the whole internal cockpit with like the pilot and the like all the internal circuitry and the cockpit and everything. And I was like, cool, I'm gonna glue this cockpit closed. And then I just didn't build any of that stuff. I like left all that out. So like that was great. That saved me like at least a page and a half of assembly instructions. But it's a nice kit. So I finished. I have to glue his left arm. I have to do one more arm and then he's done. And then I kept working on that commission that I have for Origins, and I've got all my base colors all blocked out. I've got all my layering done. I just got to go back and do like detail. The weirdest thing, and I didn't realize this was a thing. So there's a color that two of the guys are supposed to be, and it's the color that's in the starter set. And the only way you can get this color,
Halo.
Huh? Yeah. It's in the Halo. It's in the Halo starter set. And it's specifically their like UNSC Spartan armor color. It's a like they're really just army green. It's really what they are. They're just like the army painter like camo green or woodland green is very close. So I use that, but the actual Halo green has a little bit of yellow in it.
Right.
So it looks kind of like it has like a yellow kind of effect to it. But other than that, like they've been good to do. The hardest thing is realizing that it's not really a squad. So there's like two guys are basically gray. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'll do those guys together. And then two of them are basically blues, but they're different blues. But that's fine. I just layered them up the same way and they just kept going with one. And then the other two are green. And you're like, oh, that should be relatively easy. But then once you get to that point, you're like, oh, two of the guys, one of the gray guys and one of the green guys, they have a lot of red trim. And then the two blue guys, one of the green guys, and one of the gray guys have a bunch of white stripes. And I was like, oh, so I'm like going back and having to do all this like detail work. They're literally like 6 characters instead of a squad, which is fine. It's just like it's gotten to be a little of a frustration because I'm trying to block it all out. Like I'm gonna do all the green. Okay, cool. I'm gonna do all the red. Okay, cool. I'm gonna do all the gray. Okay, cool. And now it's like, oh, but that guy has white also, so I have to go back and like add white. But they're a really nice kit. Like the models themselves are really, really good. It's I'm doing Noble Team from Halo Reach. So
from the description there, it sounded a little bit like that scene from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia with the conspiracy theory.
Oh yeah. Charlie with his with all the strings. No, man, you don't understand.
I was trying to keep track there while you were talking about painting them all, and it sounded like about 50 models to me.
Just 6.
Just 6.
We'll see a photo of them once they're done.
Yeah. I'll have them all done. My plan is to get them done. I'm going to work on them tomorrow. I have tomorrow off, and then I'm going to try to poke around at them this week. And then my plan is to knock them out and have them done by Monday, because my flight leaves on Wednesday. So I want to give them to my friend who's heading to Origins, and he leaves next week on like Wednesday or something. So I just want to have them ready to go and be like, here, you're all set, and then I'm going to duck out.
That's good. Excellent. Yes. Malev says every time I talk, you could put that Charlie meme next to me and it could apply.
It's a great meme.
I'm sure actually now we've just got to get we'll get Corey to cut that piece out and put it next to that meme.
Yeah, 100%.
It's a short. Excellent. Well, I've been working on some secret projects.
Ooh.
Oh, secret projects. Okay.
I'm only going to show you. Okay.
Yeah, it's a good thing this isn't being streamed. Otherwise, anyone could see this.
Yeah. We definitely don't want anybody else to see it. So I won't share it. But I'm working on 2 things that will be revealed in the full extent of time. One of them is this this model on the left.
It's kind of a D&D archer.
That kind of thing. Trying to do something with a like a forced focus again.
Nice.
Because I only have to do a few models in this this group, so having that using the saturated colors and brighter colors, lighter colors to pull attention to the face. And then on the right, I think Jake and I have mentioned that we're part of the Trench Crusade Arena Challenge with the Army Painter, and these are some of the guys that I'm working on. So the Procession of the Sacred Affliction, these are some of the models that are going to be coming in the Carcass Front box set later in the year. But,
nice.
Yeah, having a lot of fun working on them.
Are those the plastics?
No. Plastics aren't available for folks who are working on promotional stuff. Yet these are prints.
For a second, I was really excited. I was like, "You got the plastics already?"
No, these are prints that I got from James Sheriff from Factory Fortress. Yeah, he just sent me a bunch, so I'm working on those, and hope to have some more of those done soon. But yeah, they are fun to go through. There's a lot of layers. There's a lot of cloth. There's a lot of bandages, that kind of thing.
My biggest, you might actually, this is a good question for you, Dave. One of my biggest issues with painting models like that is there's so much going on that you have to you almost have to force yourself to paint with a limited palette, because otherwise that model would just be a mess. Like there's so much. You've got metal, there's like wood, there's the cross, there's the cloth, there's like the strips that are off of them, there's the millstone, there's the rope, there's the armor, there's the smoke. It's like, you know, if you painted that normally, you'd be like, he's like 30 colors, and you're like, it's going to be just an eyesore.
Yep.
How do you like mute yourself or like manage like what you're working with? Well,
these guys we've got about 20 paints, I think, total. But one of the key things that I'm doing is it's something that you'll see like Heresy for Heretics do a lot, even though it's a very different color palette than what he'd use, is use the same sort of color for all your deep shading. And in this case, I'm using Terrestrial Titan, which is something that he uses a lot.
He loves that color.
Yep. And then you use the same colors. Use a basically, so what I'm saying there is that all of the wood, the brown, the copper, the iron, the all of the darker cloth down here, the millstone as well, they're all based in Terrestrial Titan, and that's the deepest color. And then you're building up from there with the other colors. So, and then the highlights, all the highlights are either working up with ice yellow or ancient stone.
Dave does love ice yellow.
So,
go to. How many hours you got into this, Dave?
In these two,
Yeah.
That's probably, I'd say the guy on the left is probably hour and a half, 2 hours. Guy on the right is probably about an hour and a half. Again, I'm not doing 100% the forced focus thing, but as you look in the back of them, they are darker. Sorry, there's less contrast on there. So the lighting is definitely coming from in front of them. So that saves a bit of time having to go through and highlight up 4 stages. You only have to do that on the front.
Louis says that's his limited palette, 30 colors. Yeah, I can't. That's ridiculous. I end up doing it. But like I try to minimize. Like I'll probably use 30 colors, but I'm only using maybe 8 shades, if that makes sense. So like I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have a red, and then I'll have like the 6 reds I use to make my highlight, and then it's like, okay, here's my black, and there's like the 3 colors I use to make my highlight. Like,
yep.
So I end up using 30 bottles or 35 bottles on a squad, but I'm really only using like 8 colors or whatever.
Right. Yeah. So this was, there are 2 greens. There's 2 yellows, 1 brown, 1 gray, and then everything else is kind of mixed through there. And then there's the metallics.
Nice.
Like the smoke there has got some green through it, and that green is scarab green, and I've used it on the verdigris on some of the bronzy, coppery sort of areas. So there's a lot of connection, tying things together by using similar colors through it.
Looks good.
So, yeah,
they look good.
They're coming along. I'm excited. I've got 3.5 of them done. I've only got another 10 to go. But yeah, so that's what I've been working on, as well as a few other things. Friday.
How did your book subscription or funding end up?
We ended up at about what did we end up with? 85. We ended up. Oh, I can't remember the number of backers. We ended up about $85,000. So that's very cool. We're excited about that. I'll be talking to the authors this week, so I can start to get the first chapters in, and then we'll sort of continue to roll from there. But yeah, all the artists are all excited to jump in and get writing. So
874 backers.
874. Thank you. I couldn't remember the exact number. Mainly because we didn't have a 5 at the end. I would have remembered a 5.
Yeah.
It was just
You needed one more.
But yeah, so that was good. We're excited that we've got that funded and ready to roll. So yeah, very cool. But
Cool.
Yes, cool. Should we jump into
let's get stuck in
the other bits and pieces, and then we'll start talking about Blair Mackey and Toy Soldiers. So, of course, one of the other big pieces of news, this happened, the news broke last Wednesday, the passing of John Blanche. I know a lot of folks have been talking about it online. We just want to pay our tributes as well to John. Very influential in the games that we play, the things that we do, and the livelihoods that we live. Things would look quite a bit different if it wasn't for John.
Yeah, I think without John Blanche, I think Blair and I would be working probably in corporate America somewhere, and Dave would still be in Australia working on a bullet farm.
He really did do the backdrop of the games we play.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely. So thank you very much, Mr. Blanche. Speaking of things being heavily influenced by John Blanche,
yeah, seriously.
Trench Crusade, and the Grimdark of Trench Crusade. I mentioned the Arena Challenge as well. So something we're working on. So the second article has gone out on both the Trench Wire, which is on the Trench Crusade page, and Trench Crusade website, and it's also on the Army Painter website. You can go and see all 24 armies that are being worked on. I think it's 24. Yeah, something like that. It might be 24 people who are working on them. But yeah, you can check them all out. Everybody's first mini. Jake, you've got your Sniper Priest.
Yep,
in there.
She's up there.
And I've got what do I put in? Praetor and my Anchorite Shrine. So quite cool. But again, sponsored by the Army people. And we'll also mention not this coming weekend, but the weekend after.
Yep.
Jake, Courtney, and Phil from the Army Painter Factory team are going to be at GameCon Canada.
We'll all be north of the wall. I mean, Courtney lives there, but Phil and I are going to wander north of the wall. So
fantastic. Who's Jon Snow and who's Sam Tarley?
Oof, I don't know.
That's going to be a tough one to work out. You guys will have to let us know. You could both be Sam Tarley if you want. Yeah, so not next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after, we'll get a report from Jake about the event.
Yeah, it should be fun. I'm excited. So I'm not familiar with this store, but Courtney said that they're good people. I'm sure that they are. Like, she shops there, so we're gonna pop in and kind of do like people can bring in their models and get feedback, or if people want like to come in and get tips and stuff. Like, but we're just gonna hang out and do some painting. I'm actually gonna bring the two straw stripping that I'm working on for the Army Painter Challenge. I'm gonna, because they're plastic. Like, I don't want to bring any of the resin guys. I feel like they're just gonna get shattered. But those guys are plastic, so I'm just gonna stick those in my bag and bring those guys with me. That'll be easy.
Cool, excellent.
Because your Halo guys will be done by then.
They have to be, yeah. Because I'll be going to this while they're going to Origins.
Yeah. Fantastic. And I think final thing is for another one of our factory team members this weekend is TMX Expo. So Uncle Adam Loper is running Tabletop Minions Expo. This is his 8th year, I think.
Yeah.
At the Oshkosh Convention Center. So he happened to be in Wisconsin and can make the drive to Oshkosh. Go and check it out. Loads of demo games. I think Sam Lenz, Vince Venturella, and Raven Jinky are running painting classes as well.
Yep.
So, good fun times.
I don't know if Phil said he was going to try to go, but I don't know if he's going to, because literally the next weekend we're going to be in Canada, so I don't know if he's going to pull that off. But
not sure. But
originally said he wanted to, but I don't know if that's happening.
It might not. Okay, I think that covers all of our news and bits and pieces. So next up, Blair Mackey. Tell us about this.
Gosh.
He said,
look how young and cheerful he is, the rosy cheeks. I'm telling you.
Just so you know, this is Blair here.
Yeah.
You can't match it to the Blair over here.
Oh, I picked him out right away.
I don't think I can smile like that. I don't have the muscles anymore. So yeah. So this was one of the many international sales conferences that Games Workshop held. And so obviously that's John Stollard there in the middle. I haven't seen John in a number of years. I always swing by and check out the booth at Warlord when I'm at shows.
Dude, I assumed this was like Stallard's wedding. I was like, okay.
Well, I think every year we kind of treat it like that. At least the bar build kind of seemed to fit. So yeah, we used to take over like this inn out in the middle of nowhere. They figured we wouldn't get in any trouble if we were all kind of enclosed, and they literally just let us just go behind the bar and make our own drinks and things like that. But we did a lot of gaming. We did a lot of meetings, and we always did a black tie dinner, and this is definitely one of them here. So there's quite a few people I recognize in there, but definitely Steve and John. Gilles on my left there, he ran the French operation, and Marky Farr down the bottom there. He made everybody look good. Yeah. So
yeah, Mark Farr is runs Footsore Miniatures in out of Nottingham.
Yeah. Oof. Unfortunately, I realized I was apparently the mom at Games Workshop. Not that I mothered people, but you know how there's never any pictures of mom in any of the family photos because mom was the one taking the pictures.
Oh yeah.
So if you go onto like the pictures on like Facebook for the XGW trade sales or XGW group, any of the pictures from the sales floor, I took those pictures because I'm not in any of them. It's like I remember saying, "Hey, look at me," kind of thing. So, but I thought this was kind of a fun one, and I just need to remember what that felt like being that youthful. Keep in mind that's probably 30 years ago.
I was going to say, it was at 96, 97, thereabouts.
Yeah, 30 years ago. So, yeah. So, it's I kind of got into this hobby in a very accidental way. It started for me. I think I want to give credit to my mother. God bless her. She bought me a copy of Dungeon, the board game.
One of the best board games of all time.
You got to fight green slime and black pudding, and I'm pretty sure she fudged the rules somehow, because somehow I always beat the green slime and black pudding, and I actually have a copy of the new edition one. So I can't beat those two monsters now, so I'm pretty sure Mom kind of fudged the rules or helped me. But so that was kind of like
all you have to do is roll a 5 or a 6. I mean, it's a 1 in 3 chance.
Well, yeah, I think it's a 6. Well, depending on which class you are. But yeah, so Dungeon was kind of it. And then a few years later, my brother came home from the Army. I was maybe in 5th or 6th grade, and he introduced me to Dungeons and Dragons. So that was just kind of the thing. And I mean, it was like, we didn't really play any modules. It was all about graph paper and designing dungeons and just dying. And it was really fun. So we had a big group, that was actually playing with us. And so we were down in Laurel, Maryland. And there was a hobby store down there called Hobbyworks. I think it's still there, actually. And there was an actual mall. So we go in there, and we're asking this guy who's like, "Hey, you got any D&D models?" He said, "No, we don't really, we're sold out, or that's all we have. But there's this Games Workshop store inside the mall. They have some." Because back in the early 90s, Games Workshop actually carried TSR products.
Big shout out. Laurel, Hobbyworks Laurel still exists.
Right.
Still exists, yeah.
Just Google them. They are still a store. In fact, they close there. They close soon. They close at 8. But they're still
okay. Hang on, I'll be right back. I gotta get some D&D modules. So we go walking in the mall, and it was the typical Games Workshop setup. Well, I should say that it's probably like 3 or 4 times a normal store these days, the normal Warhammer store. So we go walking in, and I see the case of all the figures. I'm like, what are these guys? Like, what do they do? And there was this employee there. I'm not going to name any names because I've worked with him for a long time. And I think he owns a lot of firearms. But he's like, "Hey, man, I'm really in the middle of unpacking a big order. Can you guys come back tomorrow? I'll be glad to show you how to play this game." It's like, "That looks cool. Let's do that." Yeah. So we went back. We played some D&D. We come back the next day, and same guy's there. And he's like, so-and-so just went to lunch. He's like, "Any chance guys can come back tomorrow?" So, yeah. So we go back, play some more D&D. I think I bought pizza that night. So we come back a third day, and he's trying to pass us off again. And I mean, Jake, you worked in retail. It's just
Dude, I would. Okay, so as someone who's a senior manager in Rent-A-Bunker, I would have killed that guy. I would have fired him on the fucking spot.
Well, this was old Games Workshop, old Games Workshop, where if you messed up like that, you got promoted.
Yeah,
it was a different world. So anyway,
I'm glad I missed that. I should say that.
No, it gets better. It gets better. So we convinced him to run us through a game. I decimated my brother, my old hunking metal dreadnought, just plowed through his guys. And back then you had to turn. This is Rogue Trader, so you had to give up a quarter of your inch or an inch to turn, and all this kind of stuff. And I think I bought about $150 worth of stuff, which back then it was a lot. But what I didn't realize,
an armload. You walked out of there with an armload of stuff.
Oh, I had the double Land Raider box set and the RTB01 Space Marines. Yeah, man, I had it all. But the funny thing was, I wrote a check, and I realized that I forgot about my pizza that I bought the night before. So I ended up bouncing a check to Games Workshop because it took them so long for me to actually. And I used to tell that story back in boot camp. It's like, "Hey guys, get the demo right there. Otherwise, they're going to go spend their money elsewhere, like I did."
Kids, for those of you at home, a check is like using your debit card. Only there's a paper trail. and it's actually measured against transactions as the day end, not in real time, which is why our friend here was able to write a check and then bounce it afterwards.
I was young.
Did you have the old knuckle duster? You know, you go scan the check, give you the purple, paper.
It may have been the ones he pulled down. I'm not.
Nice.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm sure it's probably still in a storage room somewhere.
Oh my
with
God.
Games Workshop. So I got in big, and I was telling Dave earlier, but I'm putting together my Eldar army, and I've always wanted an Eldar army since like I was that kid walking into the Games Workshop in Laurel, Maryland. I wanted an Eldar army, and there were like 4 of us that played, and everybody picked a faction, and me and Kevin Brown had to do like rock paper scissors to see who was actually going to play Eldar, and I lost. So I got stuck with orcs, and I think I actually won because back then orcs were kind of like the goofy. It may work, and if it works, everybody on the battlefield is going to die.
That's why they were the best. I still tell the kids like I sound like an old man. I'm like, gather around, kids. Back in the late 1900s, whenever orcs would use a shock attack gun, you had to roll on a chart to see what would happen. It was like, oh, I rolled boxcars, I kill whatever I'm shooting at. I rolled snake eyes, that orc is dead, and I kill a unit within 12 inches of him.
Yeah, it was like the Stotlings appeared inside the tank. They just killed everything inside, you know.
The crew, oh man,
so,
dude,
but it was great for me because I wasn't really good at tabletop war games. So if I lost, I'm like, well, they're orcs, you know. But if I won, I was just like, well, they're orcs, you know. So it was kind of cool. So yeah, I started a big orc army, got into it real big. So a number of years later, I'm driving down the road, and my mother of all people calls me and says, "What's that little toy soldier game you play?" And I was like, "You mean Warhammer?" And she's like, "Yeah, I think they have an ad in the paper. I think they're hiring." I was like, "Really?" So
you're like, as long as it's not that same dingus who was managing the store, I'm not working for that guy.
Yeah, well, maybe I did.
Does he sound like this? Hey, Blair, thanks for coming in for the interview.
No, that was more like,
it's
hey,
not
I'm gonna
that
grab
guy.
a smoke. I'll be back. Hey, dude, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, he was kind of hip, but so I went down, I interviewed, I got offered a job. I had an Ogren. I don't know why. I'm sure I must have had some Imperial Guardsmen, the plastic guys. Yep. I took an Ogren, and I actually was very proud of this, that I actually drew a heart and put the word mom across the heart, right? Nice. I was like, I'm going to show them my painting, right? And of course, the guy I interviewed with was like this like Golden Demon winner production manager guy that's got like all these beautiful models on his desk.
Yeah, but if he's
like pushing the model down my shirt pocket. I was like, I don't want to show him this. It's okay. So yeah, I started as temporary Christmas mail order help. So I basically ran around and dug up my fingers dealing through the metal bins because we sold metal figures back then. It took a good week to get calluses on your fingertips, so you didn't get, the great swords were the worst. Anyway.
No, it was all the chaos dudes. They're all covered in spikes.
Yeah, the chaos guys were also pretty bad. So, but I was in heaven, man. It's just like, we joke, but every day I go home with like a bag of metal because you just, you just kind of, as you're working during the day, you're like, well, I want to buy some of those. I want to buy some of those. So you just carried around a bag with you for your stuff. And at the end of the day, you just go down the production manager's office and just weigh your bag, and they just took out your paycheck. I didn't have to write a check.
I still have a bag of metal in my bits box. Remember they had the 3 different size bags. They had the little ones for like single characters. There was the medium-sized ones that was like a sandwich bag, and then there were the big bags. So, and it wasn't like real Ziplocs. They were like a special bag that was a little thicker. I still have one of the big bags that I think weighs like a pound, and it's still full of like all kinds of stuff. I have like old Chaos heads, the old Raptor jump packs, the hooded jump packs. I've got like metal arms, like different weapons and shit. Like that was the best. Buying bits for weight was just awesome.
Well, especially when
it didn't come out of our paycheck. We had to pay for that. That's different. I can't imagine having it just come out of my paycheck.
I know you love kind of like mixed material models, so the plastic arms
not
with
anymore.
The metal bodies. Anymore. But back then they had like the cool tactical shoulder pads, or you could swap out a gun. So bits were like a big thing. And honestly, I think I discovered that was my niche as far as like doing conversions and things like that, because it was really easy to do with the models you had access to back then. So, but yeah, no, so yeah, I worked in mail order for a while. Can speak English, and then they moved me over to production, which was interesting. It helped because I knew the games, I knew the models, although sometimes common sense isn't a good thing, or maybe you just think you know too much. So we were packaging the Dragon Prince for the High Elf Army. It was the very first time the models were out. These are the first Dragon Princes. And there was like a little sheet that's supposed to make it foolproof. And, it says, so it's got everything, a picture of every model on there, photocopied on there, and a picture of the different plastic screws you need. So one of the women that was packing that box set called me over and she says, hey, this horse, it's got a metal head, but it's got a plastic body. Like, do I need to put the plastic head sprue in there as well? I was like, no, it's got a metal head. You don't need that. 1,000 boxes of Dragon Princes with no tails.
No tails.
Yeah,
yep. It's the have the head in the tail.
So if anybody who's kind of in the chat, watching live, if you have a box set missing, I apologize. I did that. So
Blair will just
never did it again.
Contact Blair. He will fix it up for you.
Yeah. I know people. I'll get you your tails. So it's only been 30 years. You would think at some point they might have sold all those. So
possibly.
But anyway, yeah. So
that's great.
So and this was the great thing about Games Workshop. There was just so many different places you go work. It's just kind of, and back then it wasn't like, that's not my job. It's like, hey, we need you to go to a convention. We need you to do this. It's just like, hey, so it probably wasn't the worst mistake back then. Saw something in the group chat. So I'm back there working in, I think it was still in mail order. It might have been production. And this guy that worked there, and Dave and I were trying to figure out what he did. There was this guy named Owen, and I think he set up stores. I know he did conventions as well.
Eventually he moved to the UK and worked for Forge World.
Correct. Correct. So Owen was kind of like my big brother, and he came back and he said, do you want to go to Gen Con? I said, what's Gen Con? He said, good answer. Let's go. I'd never even heard of Gen Con before. This was back when they had the big TSR castle in the middle of the convention.
Was it still at Lake Geneva or was it in Indianapolis?
No, it wasn't.
It was in Milwaukee.
Oh, okay. So it's after they moved the first time, before they moved the second time.
Yeah. So the only reason I got to go, he said, you got to sit in the jump seat in the front. So I had to sit in the middle of the truck, the middle seat. And he said, also, you got to sleep on the floor. But I was young. I didn't care. So, and they played a bad joke on me. They told me, because second edition Warhammer was coming out. And so we were running demos of it just nonstop. And he said, Owen told me, I think it was Owen, told me that I was going to get paid because it was like a weekend. I was going to get paid for every demo game I ran. So by Sunday, I had no voice, and I ran 120 demo games. And I in 4 days, I could not talk. It was like I had no voice. It was bad. It was really, really bad. So, but that was my first game convention I actually went to. It was a lot of fun. I think I bought a sword. It's what you do. I don't know.
Sure.
100%.
No. I think it was the second Gen Con I went to. We flew, and I bought one of the Armor Cast Warhound Titans. Right. Remember back, first resin.
Dog. The actual dog. Yeah, that's the best.
And it's a, like the gun or the arms, like a big block of resin with like a bolt in it.
Yep.
And it's just like, that looks really, really weird on the X-ray machine, especially for somebody who's never seen anything like that before.
Yep.
That was not a fun ride back home.
I bet you were fine. It's before 9/11, so like I'm sure that they were like, "What's that?" And they were, "It's fine." And like,
no, they looked at it for a while. They didn't like the way it actually looked and everything. So, but yeah, after production, I finally went into sales, and I did that for about a year, and then I got promoted to run one of the teams there. That's where I had the pleasure of meeting a number of people, including John Matthews, which I know you had him on a few months back. It was fun listening and kind of catching up with John. I got to work with John again a little later, but we'll talk about that. But we thought we were the masters of the universe. We're like, hey, we're doing sales. We're the U.S. sales team. We're selling the best toy soldiers in the world. It's just like, yeah, you are, because you don't have to be a good salesman for that. I mean, you just send somebody a picture, say, how many you want? It was. I left Games Workshop and actually had to go out in the world and learn how to actually do sales, selling building materials and hard things, difficult things. That was the easiest job in the freaking world.
What makes this mail?
It always makes you laugh. But I tell people all the time, when I met Blair was one of the HR reps. So Cliff, who's in the chat. So It was Cliff, Blair. There was 4. It was Cliff, Blair. Oh, who else was it? There were 4 of you. It was Cliff, Blair, and 2 others. I forget who they were.
I think maybe you're getting confused. Cliff was part of the management trainee program.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. But he wasn't he one of the field reps though for like the HR stuff. Like, no, I don't know if it was HR, but it was like field management sort of.
No, training. I literally sat in an office with HR generalists because I think it was Phil Gallagher decided that he wanted them to kind of understand why these people that work there say the things they say and do the thing. Basically, he wanted me to translate like gamer talk for professional HR people. It's like
young passionate crazy guys.
Yeah. So it was a few years. It was a few years in trade sales, and I think I was there for about 4 or 5 years in trade sales, and then I took a job over in retail. And I'm glad I did, because back then there were very distinct lines, like the trade team, which were the team that really kind of, there they are.
Yep. There you go.
There you go. They were kind of separate because we're the ones that dealt with independent retailers, and then there was like the Games Workshop store staff, which they just did a different thing, and it's almost like they didn't mesh well. And I know that kind of after time that kind of went away a bit, but I'm glad I went over because I met so many other people working for the company, for sure. So I went over and was working in the training department, and I had the pleasure, truly a pleasure, working with Ryan Loringer and Bert Smith, Ed Spedigue, Greg Avdeef. Yeah, I mean, just a ton of good people. And I think while we were there, I think the retail chain got up to about 100 stores. So it was a pretty big operation. So
I remember that was a huge deal when we hit 100 stores. That was a big deal.
Yeah. So what we did in the training department was we ran boot camp. Jake, did you ever come to boot camp?
I was in line to do one of the ones when they were going to do it at Baltimore, and then that's kind of when everything kind of went sideways. And then they wanted me to go out to Chicago because that was when they had the idea of like having different bunker managers go to different regions to train. And I was like, I mean, okay.
Yeah.
And I don't think I never did the newer version of it. I did the manual version, like we had the codexes and everything. I did that. But I never did the physical one. Yeah,
the Marine training file. That was something you took with you. So boot camp, what it was it wasn't everybody, but these were kind of red shirts. So just full-time guys that potentially, and I say guys, it could be anybody, but that could potentially be a manager someday. And so they just want to give them just a little extra kind of training and things like that. So they come to the office for 2 weeks and they learn everything from how to talk to customers to how to shop in the metal room, the important stuff. So yeah, it was fun stuff. But then after that, I actually went to work for Warhammer Online for a little while. That was kind of fun.
Okay.
So I lived in England for about a year. I was there for 3 weeks out of the month, and the project ended up getting moved over to Mythic Entertainment, which was the people who did Dark Age Camelot. So we kind of pulled our team out, but I got the pleasure of working with Robin Dews directly. He was my boss for about a year, and we interacted with Robin, at the sales meetings. He'd always come down because he ran the studio. He'd come down and kind of show us what was new or something like that. But then, it was kind of neat just kind of being hands-on with him. So that was kind of good. So unfortunately, when that project got pulled, it kind of left me really without a place to go work. And that's when I went to work for HR. of all places, which, that wasn't, it was interesting. It was not nearly as fun as working in retail or trade sales or anything like that. It was a lot of data entry and benefits and things like that. So, yeah. But anyway, yeah,
we were there for a lot of the wild stuff. Like there's that whole mid period where I feel like GW was doing a lot of like, what else can we do? Like I remember I was there when we bought Sabretooth and they made the card game, and then they were like trying to roll them in, and like Black Library was there. So Vince Rossbaum was in a lot of stuff. Like it was like it was really fun for that chunk of time, because you were like, to your point, Blair, it was like we can do anything. It's like, hey, we have this thing coming up this weekend. Who wants to do it? And you're like, Dave's gonna do it, and we're gonna send, Cliff, and we're gonna send, Buyaki from like out back. And you're like, why would we send them? And you're like, why not? Like that was just like the way that they handled stuff.
That was the A team. That's who you sent. I mean, that's what you did back then. So, but I mean, at the end of the day, you work for a game company. When I did reviews for my guys, like we did them over like a 40K game. Like we would literally set up a table, and for the afternoon, we just have a real long game and just kind of chat about what's going on, what they liked. And, I've worked in a lot of the industry since then. And like one example is a company that sells wood repair products. Exciting stuff. But I really kind of, every time I was explaining like a kitchen cabinet as a demo, I just, in the back of my mind, was pretending it was a Space Marine or an orc. Right. My screen technique got really well. I can fry models like there's no tomorrow, for sure.
Awesome. Alan Blunt has just joined us in the chat.
Oh, hey, Alan.
Nice.
Excellent.
So
yeah.
Quick question though. When you were with Warhammer Online, what sort of stuff were you doing?
So yeah, I was hired to be the customer service manager, and so the idea was that we wanted to put a lot of tools in the game to allow people to self-help. So it's not like, well, we're dependent on actual game masters to kind of go in and get somebody stuck because they fell into like a valley that, wasn't supposed to be there, or, somebody stole their gold. So we were kind of writing a lot of the tools that would be needed. I played a lot of online games prior to that. And, there was a couple people that applied for that job at Games Workshop. I still consider myself lucky to get that job. Because I would go over, like I mentioned, to go over to England for 3 weeks. So I'd get there, and the first thing I did was sit in Robin's office and just talk about the next 3 weeks. And then at the end of the 3 weeks, we did the same, kind of, just kind of talk about what I got done, and then what I need to work on between now and the next visit. So the one time I came, sat down in his office, and he said, well, I got some bad news. I was like, what's going on? He goes, well, the customer service team, or the I forget who it was, they're behind. So your benchmarks, you can't start on them because you need X, Y, and Z from them, and they're still working on it. He said, go home, do me a favor. Take your credit card and get a copy of every online game you can think of and just play them. And just like write down what's good, what's bad, like, just whatever, how they handle this.
Market research.
Yeah. And he's like, and I'm telling you, I literally for about a month, I sat in my basement and in my pajamas and did nothing but play video games. It was amazing. It was absolutely true. And believe it or not, that even after a month of that, I was kind of done. Did not win. And I'm like, crap, I work for a company that makes computer games now. Yeah. It's just like, I'm kind of stuck here with this one. So, yeah. But yeah, no, Warhammer Online, it was kind of interesting because it was, we were all very passionate about the IP. I'd say probably about half of the people, though, that work for Warhammer Online had played Warhammer before, so that was something else we did in the evening. So we played games of Warhammer. We actually had a big Blood Bowl and Mordheim league going there, just to get people playing, kind of thing.
Naturally,
it was. You would think that everybody. It was more for the developer that they were more familiar with. The actual, the games and everything. So yeah. So but then I took a bit of a break. I went out kind of like I mentioned, I had to get a real big boy job, and was selling building materials and expensive stuff like that, and had to really kind of learn about I don't know, everything from listening to follow through to technical information, fun stuff like that. And I got a call from John Matthews one day, and he said, "Hey, I'm over at Battlefront now." I was like, "Yeah, I've seen like a lot of your product in stores. You guys are doing well." He's like, "Yeah." He said, at the time, I guess Jeff decided to step down for a while. So Jeff had just left. He said, "We're looking for somebody here. Is there anybody, do you know anybody who's looking for work?" And I was like, "Well, I named a couple people." And he's like, "Well, why don't you come work for me?" And I was like, "Why don't we have lunch? We'll talk about it." So we actually went to a lunch. It was him and John Paul Berzagatti went to lunch. And it was funny because in the 10 years that had gone past where I kind of went out and had some actual sales training and learned about, prescription-based selling and, just a whole bunch of things. And, we sat down at lunch and I was just like, "Well, how do you guys handle this?" And they're like, "Well, we don't." "Oh, well, how do you come up with your targets?" And I'm like, "Yeah, well, what kind of reporting do you have?" "Well, we kind of have this program, but we don't know how to use it." And I was just like, I forget exactly what the example was, but I basically said, if I can actually do X, Y, and Z for you, is that something you'd be interested in actually hearing about? They're like, "Yeah," kind of thing. It was like I kind of turned that around on them. So anyway, so I started with Battlefront. I want to say it was, bring up my resume if I really wanted to, but it was in like maybe 2010. Sure. Yeah, maybe 2010. And that's really, Jake, where I ran into you again, because I was at Gamma, and I think you were looking for John Matthews, and I was like, "Who is this crazy guy?"
It was definitely no. It was the first show I met you. The first show I met you at was it Gamma? It was either Gamma. It was either Gamma or PAX East.
I think the first time was Gamma because they were giving out like a copy of, it might have been like the Battlestar Galactica miniature game. It was kind of like X-Wing, but Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, sure.
And I was just like kind of craning my neck trying to look down there, and you're like, "Dude, you want one? I'll go get you one." And you like really hopped down there. And I was like, and my coworker's like, "Who's that guy?" I was like, "I think he worked with me. I don't know." And you came back, and you're like, "Here you go, man." I was like, "I don't know who he is, but he's my new best friend." So here we are, 2026 on the podcast together chatting. So yeah, it was cool because a lot of people from Games Workshop in the late 90s, early 2000s kind of went out and did their own companies, so you had Warlord, you had Mantic, even like Soda Pop, miniatures. They're
Gale
all
Force 9 at the time was Jason Buyaki. Like, I mean,
well, that was John Kovaleski, but yeah.
With Jason though, I mean, like,
yeah.
I mean, you also had like, oh god, okay, so Vince was at Osprey after that. I mean, like, we knew people were always like, I'd go to shows, they'd be like, "How do you know these guys?" And I'd be like, "Oh, I worked with him." "How do you know that guy?" "Oh, I worked with him." How do you know Dirty Steve at Alliance?" "I worked with him at Games Workshop." Like, it's all like everybody was like somebody I knew from Games Workshop. And then after doing this now for decades, it's like it's all people that either I knew from Games Workshop or people that I met through people that I worked at Games Workshop. It's kind of insane.
Yeah, I always joke about, we all have like our own little secret handshake and everything like that, but it's, we all kind of like fought the same battles and everything, so it was fun doing it as well. So, but so I was at Battlefront. Life was good. Got to go to a lot of shows. We definitely ran into you. I got to meet Big Rick for the first time. Who really
friend of the show, good people.
Yeah, and geez, I'm trying to think.
Alan.
Yeah.
Alan says, "Stop aging me."
Sorry, buddy. Sorry. So so no, I was at Battlefront for a good 5 years, and it was kind of going into COVID. It was I got to give them props because going to COVID, Battlefront US was maybe a dozen people. It wasn't a big team, and going into COVID, like we weren't even supposed to be in the building. like they up in Cecil County, up in Maryland, they pretty much had very kind of big things where they basically said that, you know, if you were on the road, you had to be like essential personnel. So anyway,
Hey, we can see.
Every real state had that. Like, you don't drive the dog, it's fine.
So anyway, so me and the warehouse manager had to sneak in to the facility because they put like a sale on, so that way they had revenue coming in. So it's this big, massive mail order sale. And I'm making these numbers up, but it gives you an idea. We probably did like 40 orders a day. Well, with the sale, we were doing 400 orders a day. But now we have nobody in the building. So me and the warehouse manager would sneak into the building and pack orders from 6 in the morning until like 8 at night. And there were a couple times we'd have the lights off, have the music off, because there were a couple times where the state police was going around door to door, just knocking on doors and everything. But to be fair, you know, apart from, I think we had to lay 2 people off. Everybody else got a paycheck. And yeah, we tried to do as much as we could from home and everything like that. But you know, they definitely stood behind their people there and everything. So
we did a similar thing. I know in Mass, the whole restriction was, the caveat was owners can check on the status of their business, was how it was worded. So Ben and I furloughed our entire staff. We paid them like during it. But we furloughed our staff, and then Ben and I would go in twice a week. We would go in on Monday morning, and we would pull all the mail order that came in over the weekend, and we would literally just ship orders for like 6 hours. And then we would go in on Friday and pull all the orders from the week, and like that was it. So Ben and I saw each other in person twice a week, and I mean, you had to hustle. Like there was the only way you could function during the shutdown was you were like, how do we make this work? How do we not have our business go under? And we got really fortunate, but I remember, like, you guys haven't been to my store. My store is good size, and we carry a ton of product. And it was getting towards the fact where all the warehouses were closed. So I couldn't restock anything. So it was like the shelves were getting kind of bare. And I was like, thank God we're a big store and we had a ton of product. But even I was like, oh, man, people would call and they'd be like, do you have this? And I'd be like, I don't have Assault Marines. Do you have this? I'd be like, I don't. And then it'd be like, what do you have for Space Marines? And I'd go through the boxes, and he'd be like, send me the box of Devastators. Okay, no problem. Because people just wanted stuff to work on. My paint rack was like a ghost town. It was like mostly empty. But, yeah, it was.
Yeah, I remember watching the Games Workshop stock like skyrocket during COVID, just because so many people were taking part of the hobby and buying models.
Yep.
So right around that same time, in a whole different country, there was this guy who decided that he wanted to, he had started One Page Rules, and it would start off kind of as like a rule set, just because he was a big fan of sci-fi miniature games. But there were certain things about the rule set that he just wanted to kind of simplify. So he basically came up with a personal project. And a Patreon kind of grew out of that, and some miniatures designers were actually brought on board. So and then of course this was the inception of One Page Rules. So during COVID, that's really where the STL thing really kind of kicked off. Like the STL meaning the files that people need to 3D print files. So it started as a rule set, but during COVID, then they actually started hiring miniature designers and actually putting files up, so that way people could actually, you know, make models or, you know, whatever during COVID. So that really kind of started that whole kick. And you know, 7 years later, I think there's 1,300 different file sets on the My Mini Factory website. So quite a bit of a library spanning across both science fiction and fantasy. And even into like
files just for One Page Rules.
What's that?
1,300 files just for One Page Rules.
1,300 file sets. So
Okay.
that's not
Right.
So one of those sets may be Orc Crossbowmen.
Yep.
So there may be, you know, 6 or 7 different poses, maybe 10 different poses for that one file set.
Yep.
So it's a pretty extensive library. So, you know, people don't realize how long they've been around. So I left Battlefront just because I had it in my head that at some point in my life I wanted to retire, and I really wasn't getting much of a retirement. where I was working. So so I went back into the building material industry, and I kind of got hooked on the 3D printing thing maybe about 5 years ago. So I've been kind of doing a lot of like 3D printing, for everything from models to bases. So David, I don't know if you want to bring up that next model or that next slide here. So this is one of the models that I'm actually working on. This is the let him kind of focus and everything here. So so I'm doing a vampiric knights army. So basically vampire counts in one-page rules. And this guy is the Butcher Titan. So 18 wounds, 12 attacks, I think. Just really kind of devastating. Go to the next picture because you can see some of the detail on the back of him. But this was the kind of thing that really kind of jumped out at me. I was like, these are really, really cool models. I originally found one-page rules as a stopgap because Orc Pain Boys. I've got like I try to put one in as many of them I can in my army, but I had like one pose at the time. So kind of looking for some proxies that I could actually use for for different models. So this just it's just some really, really cool models though, as far as what's in their library. I just wanted to kind of share a couple of these. So and share some of the builders or the designers that I actually enjoy working with. So go ahead and hit the next one.
I think So do we have? It's just a slightly different angle there, but
yeah, it's just a slightly different angle. I love the little ghoul down on the front there that's actually taunting him.
Yeah,
because he's actually holding a key.
All right.
So, yeah, it's kind of neat. So, but totally playable in the actual game. Just really
at the top here. That's like they're human size, like
correct,
mini human. So
yeah. So this thing stands about 8-10 inches tall.
Right. That's huge.
Yeah, probably about 8 inches tall. So this is really cool. So the next one, this is actually what I'm using as my general. So this is actually a playable piece in the game. This isn't scenery. So the way it actually works is
that's like a cross between the black coach and the corpse cart.
Correct. So you pick your leader, which I'm using a vampire, and then you can put him on a zombie dragon, which you get an elevated stat line. It adds about 8 attacks. Or you can have this one, which is the stitched ravaging horde, and it basically adds 18 attacks to your character. So if you look at the top, you can click the next picture, Dave. There's actually a vampire that's coming out of the coffin there,
right?
And I've been told there's 164 zombies on this model.
It's like a Roman Lepat diorama.
Yeah, I mean, there's everything going on. There's a bat on top. There's a werewolf breaking out of the tomb back there. I love the little two like human empire looking guys that are trying to run away from this thing. They must have been like standing guard. If you look down there in the front, you can see the one guy with his hands on his head. The other guy fell down. He's a goner. The really cool thing about this model is if you go back to the side view of it, Jake, I'll let you actually do this. How many pieces do you think is in this model kit?
Oh, it's 3D printed resin, right? So
yep.
Well, if somebody was smart, they could do it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 5 in the base. Maybe no 7. I would say 7 in the base because you could do the hanging piece, the sarcophagus, the pillar, the guys under them, the house, the guy coming out of the house.
You're pretty close, actually. I'm impressed, buddy. I was expecting you to say like, oh, it's got to be at least 50. No.
I would guess it's somewhere between like 7 and 12.
It's about 10 pieces. Now 4 of them is the bent light post. There's a fence around the backside that's a piece, and the 2 humans. That's 4. That's almost half the pieces right there. But that mound of zombies is literally 1 piece.
Right.
Yeah, just absolutely amazing. So anyway, so like these are the kind of things that caught my eye as far as really kind of liking one-page rules, and that's where I actually start learning about their game systems themselves, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But go ahead, go on to the next one, Dave. So this is actually they're desert undead. They're not called Tomb Kings. It's like the Ostrid. I'm going to butcher that one, but that's okay. So this is actually yet another model that I was actually working on. I think I'm going to build an army around this just because I just love this, and it makes a good centerpiece. So basically, use them as a bone giant.
Yeah,
that's a cool looking model.
So I'm going to ask. So Engineered Supports is the creator, right?
No, it's actually One Page Rules is the creator. The Engineered Supports means that the model comes ready to print. You don't actually have to do the supports on that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So when you do resin printing, it's kind of hard to explain. There's a lot of good videos out there if you're really interested, if you're not sure what it means. But basically, there's a metal plate that dips down into the resin, and if it's hard to explain, but if you got like an arm that's sticking out to the side, it just can't start printing that arm out in the middle of nowhere. Right. No islands. Thank you, Cliff. So you actually have like almost like a little bridge that comes up and helps start that piece, and then it kind of forms the rest of it. So much like that little picture there with the little cog with the supports under it, that's what they look like.
Right.
So anyway, yeah, that's going to be the I think the next undead army I do with One Page Rules. So what was the next one? I try to remember what the next picture was. Okay, so just switching gears here, is Mr. Model Work. And again, this is just kind of going through some 3D designers that I really, really like. So all he does is orcs. He started with a Patreon about 3 years ago, and I want to say he's up to maybe about 120 file sets, maybe. I mean, he's got quite a bit, but just great alternate models. Again, these are all the arms are separate, bodies or the torsos are separate from the legs, the heads obviously. So that way, Games Workshop's definitely in a static pose world these days. Like the multi-pose kits, you don't see a lot of them, Right. So you're kind of plugging the body onto the front of the orc, and that orc's always going to look like that unless you get really creative with your modifications. So therefore, like something like this, if you're doing a big orc army, you're going to have 120 boys. It's great because you get a lot of variety with them. So go ahead and hit the next one, Dave. So this is one of the vehicles they have, and I don't know if you can kind of tell, it's kind of built on like an APC kind of chassis there. They just do great stuff. So Mr. Model Works is definitely one of my favorite designers for sure. I think there's one more for him.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. So the Squig Riders. So that's actually a knob on a squig, but their squigs are really cool looking. I actually prefer them.
That's a squigosaur.
They're big. They're very big. So again, I don't do the meta where I kind of like try to get my models on the smallest possible base. These things are on very big ovals, but they look really cool. I'm in the process now of going back and reprinting a lot of things I printed before in ABS like resin. So it's very bendy, where historically resins would be very brittle. So the spears and everything like that, if you weren't careful, just a hand across a tabletop, you could snap a couple things off. Where now it's almost like the material of those little green army men that you had when you were a kid. But so definitely a lot more durable. You can drop these things; they won't shatter until the
Yeah, they've been doing lots of like polymer blends. So you're kind of getting like, the flexibility of like board game plastic. Is that ABS?
Board game plastic? No, board game plastics, PVC.
All right. So you're getting the flexibility of PVC, but also like the detail of like not quite hips. Like that's what a lot of the COCast stuff is. It's like their proprietary blend. But a lot of companies are getting really good at making their own versions of that, a blended material that's going to give you that kind of that effect and that like wear, where it's kind of like splitting the difference. It's like, oh, well, it kind of, we want a little bit from this category, a little bit from this category, a little bit from this category.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was going to say, This is one that the first ones that we printed with a Elegoo Tough resin.
Mhm.
And that you can see pushing on that thing on the back there. There's a little bit of flex to it, not as much as you're describing with the ABS like resin, but
Yeah.
in the office we've just got some of the ABS like resin, so we're going to be mucking around with that.
And honestly, I switched to water washable resin, so it just makes the cleanup less fumes, so it doesn't have like the chemical smell to it, and you can literally use water to wash it. I still use isopropyl alcohol as one of the rinses just to really get them clean, but I mean it really makes a big difference. And the great thing is it's actually cheaper than regular resin. So, but I think there was one more designer. This is more one I grabbed for some fantasy files. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Highland Miniatures.
This one's actually the last one for the what was the name of the orc?
Highland. It was like some elves, I think.
No, what was the name of the orc creator?
Highland Miniatures.
No, not the Highland, not the elves, the orcs.
Oh, Mr. Model Orc.
Mr. Model Orc. Okay,
yeah.
This is the last one from him.
Oh yeah. I forgot about him. So, they did a big line of like Savage Orcs and Feral Orcs. So,
that claw is brutal.
I just love the scale. It's the one army where when the bosses are much larger than the regular guys, it kind of works because they would be the alpha males that the big kid in the schoolyard that kind of rose to the top. So
ridiculous.
Cool. Yeah, I forgot about that one in there. So
sorry, just quickly as well in the chat, Brenton's joined us from Goobertown. He said that Ceocast is a nylon plastic, and Alan says plant-based resin is great.
Yep.
Josh says Highland Miniatures. There can be only one.
True.
And Sean is with us as well, and Sean says that is amazing. I'm pretty sure he's talking about the orc.
Oh, that's great stuff. So this is Highland, and again, it's all fantasy stuff, but it's just really just well done models. The scale is a little off, so you have to play with them a little bit if you want to be kind of in line with if you're going to use them in other fantasy type games. But this is some of the they call them the stick goblins. So they just kind of recreate or reimagine some of the goblin kind of engineering. So I think they have a Snotling pump wagon. This is obviously the glider launcher, but they're more gliders. Big rubber band. They don't have the big rubber band or anything like that. So yeah, and I think there was a picture of some elves just because they kind of caught my attention too. Much like the Eldar, I've wanted to do an elf army. So
that looks like a unit of Phoenix Guard.
It does look very close to that.
Yep.
It also looks a bit like it's a smaller scale. In fact,
it's hard to tell from the pictures. It really is. They have a really great line of dwarves as well. So
one of the things as well to talk about like right now, when I mentioned scale there, obviously when you print, you can scale things up, you can scale things down.
You can.
But if you've got something that's designed for 40 millimeter scale and you scale it down to 25 millimeter scale, that means that everything that's long and thin at 40 is going to be incredibly thin at 25. Something that's designed for 10 millimeter, when you scale it up to 40 millimeter, is going to be lacking in a lot of detail that you might expect for a 40 millimeter scale. So just something to keep in mind when people are planning.
Correct. Yeah. So typically what I do is if it's a new designer, I'll print just a model just to get a feel for what the scale is. And I've got the real fancy little calipers that I can throw on there. And from there, I can kind of say, yeah, this guy needs to be 10% bigger, 15% smaller. And once you got that dialed in, I kind of know that Highland Miniatures, I usually adjust the scale by this much because I'm used to using them for this game, that kind of thing. So, but yeah, they really, really great stuff. Yeah, you can go right into the next one. So, getting into 3D printing is kind of what kind of caught my one page rules caught my attention. And this last year has been a very, very exciting time for them. So last fall, I was reading on their website that they were releasing physical product. So for the last 7 years, they've done nothing but, build their STL library, a really established 3D model maker. And the really cool thing is they've had the rule set to go with it. It wasn't just Highland Miniatures doesn't have a rule set, none the one I've ever seen. So they're basically kind of making models that people are going to use for another game system. But with Broken Truth or One Page Rules, that's one thing that the rule set was the very first thing that came out 12 years ago. And so last year was really exciting because they said, hey, we want to kind of engage the community at the retail store level. So we want to make a product that can actually, local game stores can actually carry and help promote the game system. So last September, they did a crowdfunding for Broken Truth, which is the 2-player starter set you see there on the screen there. And this had has the Starian Star Host and the Robot Legions. So you get 2 armies. It's 53 models for a very modest $120 MSRP. The models are great quality. Are they up to par with the best tabletop wargame manufacturer on the planet right now? No. It'd be silly for us to pretend that. But they've got about a 40-year head start on these guys. We'll just say 30 because they've been around for about 10. I think for the price point, I think the models are absolutely phenomenal. So
what material are the models in, like this starter set?
They're going to be that kind of a cross, but somewhere between that board game type plastic that we had talked about and ABS. But there's quite a bit of detail. I've got some pictures of some other models that are kind of in STL format, and
they're really nice. Like I got to get my hands on them when I was at Gamma. Like they're really good. I mean, I would say they're probably somewhere in the neighborhood of like anybody who is doing any of the newer War Machine stuff, like that stuff's all like 3D printed. They're using a different, I forget what they're using for their material, but it's like the same kind of level of detail. They're really nice. Like, and for the price point, I think that they're dynamite for that.
And a really big.
Sorry, Blair, just quickly in the chat. Brendan said they're PVC, but they're nice. So they're a nice PVC.
Yeah, they're nice as opposed to the bad PVC.
Yep.
So, So a total departure though from what we're used to, because again, you were talking last week about this new starter set coming out for Warhammer, and people are going to probably spend the first week or weekend putting all those models together. Everything for One Page Rules comes fully assembled already. So they're kind of trying to bridge that gap of people that maybe are more of a board game person that want to have a go at tabletop war games, as opposed to somebody who kind of likes that functionality of I'm going to pose these models, kind of like I was talking about with Orcs earlier. So that's definitely an important distinction, though, that these models come assembled. There's a couple big pieces that have to be glued to bases, but other than that, they're pretty much ready to roll. So
we'll do some cross promotion too. Anybody who wants to check it out on Goobertown Hobbies, Brent has a video of them being made in the factory.
Yep. So
we can cross promote. He's a friend of the show.
So the Goobertown Hobbies YouTube channel after the show and check out that video.
A really, really cool thing about the crowdfunding too was that they did it on GameFound, and they ended the crowdfunding the end of October. So all the orders were placed, overseas November 1st, and we had product in the country March 1st.
Right. Nice.
Which is amazing for, to get production and get on the water and then get it here. I mean, I dealt with that a lot when I was at Battlefront, as far as how long it takes to actually get things from China or from Malaysia. And the fact that they were able to do that so quickly, it was pretty wild. So go ahead and hit the next slide. So this is a picture of the 2-player starter set. It's this guy right here, So we're actually starting to ship this. Shameless plug, but I'll go ahead and do it. We're actually starting to ship product. We've had a couple stores that have received product already. And there are some, if there's any retailers out there, there are a couple of distributors that are actually carrying the product as well. I believe Southern ACD. Jake, you were just out at ACD. What was it, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
So they're actually, so there's a couple options, but you can actually order direct from One Page Rules as well. So, so the way the line actually works is you get 2 factions in that starter set, and then go ahead and hit the next slide, Dave. There's 2 expansions for each faction. So,
I like the big T-Rex looking thing with the rocket launcher on his shoulder. That guy's the best.
Okay, yeah, they're called Gators, but yeah, they are pretty tough in the game. So really, if you bought the starter set and you buy these 2 boxes, you pretty much got the Starion Star Host line. And I mean, again, the starter set's $120, and each of these expansions are $50 or $60. So, $50, $60 for 12 models. You typically are going to get a big model, you're going to get a hero, and then you're going to get a unit along with in those box sets. So I think there's one more picture of the other box set, Dave. Oh, no, we're in the works. We're in the works. Look at that. So anyway, so Grimdark Future's out. Before I kind of go into some of the other news stuff for One Page Rules, is there are going to be, like I'd mentioned, we've been making models for close to 7 years now. So there's quite an established range of models already. We just have to transfer them into plastic. So the next 2 armies are getting ready to be announced. Unfortunately, I am not allowed to actually talk about it as far as what the 2 next ones are going to be. But within the next couple, soon, there's going to be an announcement. I'll let the community manager handle all that as far as that. But right now, I think there's 25 factions between the fantasy and the science fiction game. Right. So there's quite a big crossover as far as there's a lot of models or a lot of armies that can be played. And the really great thing about it is that about this game is that the rule set is modeled generic. Like you Jake, if you wanted to, you could bring your Belangel army over, and you could there's actually rules on the free army builder on the website to actually transfer that army in there. There's even a function on the Patreon where you can actually convert an army yourself. So it's like a tool that lets you kind of convert an army. So I got to be really careful about the wording. But there was somebody that took a robot type army from a Star Wars type movie and basically made an army list for it in One Page Rules.
Like made a faction list.
Correct. So that they could use their models from Star Wars Legion in Grimdark Future.
Right.
So
yeah, supposedly the big kind of common touch point for anybody who's watching is you could take toy soldiers from any game system, anywhere you bought them, and you could theoretically make an army list in One Page Rules and then use them. So you could use your D&D models from back in the day. You could use old school Realms of Chaos dudes. You could use a whole bunch of C-3POs. Like you could use whatever you want. You just have to, as long as you can put it together and you know what it is and your opponent knows what it is, you're all set.
So, and I want to try to get to a tail end here because I definitely want to leave time and everything for the pictures at the end. So if you go to the One Page Rules website, not only is there Grimdark Future, which is like the sci-fi tabletop war game, there's also what's called Age of Fantasy. Then there's a skirmish game for each. But then there's actually, and I wrote them down to make sure I get them right, there's what's called Star Quest and Fantasy Quest. And I'm a big dungeon crawl guy. Like that's what I do.
I see what you're doing here.
Yeah, and basically you create like a small war band of characters. They have elevated stat lines. So you take your Belangel characters, you create an elevated stat line, but not only that, you tell the app what enemies you're going to have. So maybe it's some kind of orc or whatever, and it will actually, based on the difficulty, it will actually spawn enemies and actually do the rolling and hits for you. So it kind of turns it into a makeshift dungeon crawler, but a tabletop setting. It's a really clever game. So you only have about 5 or 6 characters you're playing with, but again, they have elevated wounds, they have skills, they have stats. and it's a campaign setting too. So I know like Ash did a full on playthrough with, I believe it was StarQuest. But just this is one of the other games that's actually available. It's really, really fun to play. So
Excellent.
cool.
There we go. Josh Potter says OPR is covering all the bases. It's like we're not Coke or Pepsi. Now he's retracted his comment. Let me just bring up back the
yeah. So the new stuff that's out for right now. So these are just hit this month. So they're doing a fantasy orc army. Definitely a different look to them, as far as heavily armored. But just really super detailed models. And again, the really cool thing about these models is you can actually, if you were to print these, you could actually print these in one piece, as opposed to, some people like to have the riders separate for painting purposes and things like that. But there's a lot of freedom there as far as how you actually make the models as well.
right.
Nice.
So,
Cool.
so the next one, Jake, you're gonna love it.
Space rats.
Crud.
Space rats. Yeah, I absolutely love the circle and the triangle motifs that they use everywhere on these models.
Yep.
Very, very cool. So they've had 2 waves of them so far. I think there's like maybe 3 unit selections that you can actually use. So these are the sharpshooters. Go to the next one. I believe it's a doom wheel. Yep. So that's your artillery piece, and you have a couple. I think it's like 6 different options for the different types of weapons you can actually mount either on the top, or there's an option to mount. There's another gun you can put on the front. So, and there's one last piece. He's like a technomancer.
Very cool.
Yeah. So, and we always kind of we'll do like a pose a couple different times. We'll swap out a head. Again, you can always mirror them if you want something different. So the last thing I really wanted to mention, just like news about one-page rules, would be the next slide. There was a campaign that actually just wrapped up called Worlds Beyond Brawl. So really what this was an opportunity for basically game or model manufacturers to kind of like license and make sets to be used in Grimdark Future or Age of Fantasy. So, I know that War Machine's not the best because they have their own rule set, but like over on the right-hand side, there's the little orky skull with the wrench and the hammer sticking out. That's the Daka Daka website. Daka Daka makes orc models. They don't have a rule set, but now they can actually, with an agreement, they can actually make units that you use in Grimdark Future or Age of Fantasy. So just really exciting. Just a lot of contributors. I think there was 18 creators. And I think there's going to be more of this. We're really, really happy about just how this campaign actually went. So,
yeah, Crippled God Foundry do some incredible models. I've looked at some of those for Trench Crusade.
Mm-hmm.
The printing goes ever on as well. They've got some fantastic stuff that would fit in a lot of different systems. But I thought this was a brilliant idea, and just as a wonderful way to bring just a whole lot of stuff together. So people who are already looking at one-page rules, looking at different creators, people who are looking at warp miniatures, and Alex Huntley from Nottingham and his game, also looking at The Printing Goes Ever On, or checking out Titan Forge, or whoever else is on there.
Dude, Titan Forge, they have some really cool models. Like I have a soft spot for a bunch of their stuff.
Yep.
Folks are into Pathfinder or Starfinder through Paizo, understanding that there are other models as well to check out. So just a big, as far as a opportunity to open people's eyes to other possibilities. Incredible endeavor, I think.
Yep. So that just wrapped up. I want to say the end of May.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So cool.
But yeah, awesome stuff. Do we have anything else? Was that the last slide?
I believe so.
Fine. There we go. Let's come back to this. Excellent. Cool. Let's so at the moment, I do have to ask, as a you're enjoying your 3D printing, how many printers do you have, and are they running all the time?
So I kind of did try to fall in that loop, but I realized that if you have more than one printer, let's say you have two printers, like Jake gets a printer. He's like, oh, this is cool. I made some stuff I like. I made some, this or that. If he gets two, all it means is he's going through twice as much resin.
Right.
So therefore, it's just kind of like, just have the patience and, just kind of have one. It's just time. If you're sitting there watching the print, then yes, it is very slow and painful. But, a lot of times I'll set a printer, I'll go out, work, come back, that kind of thing. So it's a pretty easy process.
It's the best analogy I've given to friends of mine is your 3D printer is Santa. So you have your milk and cookies and you put in the code and then you go to bed and you're like, oh, what's Santa gonna bring me? And then the next morning there's a model that you printed. So that's the best way to do it.
Yeah. So but yeah, and then I got into filament printing just because I was buying a lot of bases on eBay or wherever I could, because you need bases, and for some reason printing sharp edge square or round objects doesn't work too well for resin printing. So my local game store in Haverty Grace, he says that I'm one of his best customers.
That's okay. That's fine.
It's all good, man.
Just because of the amount of primer I buy from him.
Right. Yeah.
So
much.
yep.
Fantastic. That's cool. Awesome. Okay.
Blair, it's okay. It's not super noticeable. My dogs are upstairs running around as it is. So
not my dogs.
Excellent. Fantastic. Okay. Well, Blair, I think is there anything else you wanted to mention? Because as you know, as a fan of the show, next step is to check out some community miniatures.
I'd love to.
Excellent. Let's get in and check those out. I am going to see if I can do it in the correct way this time. Hit this and then that. Well, there we go. Okay, so first up, Aaron Provost.
Nice.
So I actually thought I'd wear one of Aaron's shirts tonight. War Games are heck.
I was wearing his live, laugh, blood for the blood god shirt the other day.
Awesome. But yeah, you can check him out on Instagram as War Games are heck. But Aaron posted this, finished off this piece this week as a tribute to John Blanche. This piece he started a while ago, but finished it up.
It is Blanchy. He would dig it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hitting that wonderful Blanche palette. But it looks fantastic, Aaron. Really cool. Wonderful work. And let me make sure I'm on the right spot there. There we go. Aaron has also basically he's taking a break from his Star Phantoms that we've been seeing in recent weeks and put together some Chaos Warriors for Great Helm. So Malev has been in the chat. We've got him putting together a force for a Great Helm, which is pretty cool.
This box of Chaos Warriors is still, I think, one of the best boxes. This box is up there with like Jess Goodwin's Tactical Space Marine Squad.
Right. Yep.
Like there's so many cool weapons, and the way that they made them so that it's like the bodies, there's like 4 different bodies and they all go together in 2 halves. And then there's like 3 or 4 different capes and they all match up with the fur. So you can kind of make your own guy. And then the left arms and then the shield arms and the heads are all interchangeable. So you can literally like make the guys you want, and you can give them 2-hand weapons. Like you could give them, they could have 2-hand weapons. Like they were really cool. This box is great.
Yep. Absolutely. And this is one of my favorite helmets ever.
I have it on my chaplain that I brought as part of that Tale of Four Warlords. I have that.
Excellent. All of my Knights of More for my Empire army, for the Warhammer, all have that helmet as their helmet. But should be fun. And Malev says these models have serious aura. They do indeed. Excellent. Next up, Adam Weller.
Nice.
Enjoying this, painting this Space Wolf bust, this Ragnar Blackmane bust. There with Frostfang. So I had to show that side view as well to see that the snarling face of the wolf.
That's super good.
I love the fur.
Yeah, beautiful work on that.
That's so cool. Like all the tones in the hair are great.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, absolutely. I love the kind of the micro texture, the stippling on the armor plates. You can see it around the what are they?
Yeah, that's awesome.
The fan braces there. Just
I really he did what you talked about too, which is the forced lighting. So like if you look at his hair on the left picture, his hair is really highlighted. If you look at the one on the right, it's not, because like the light is hitting him here.
Yeah, it's hitting from this direction.
Yeah,
in the front.
That's super cool.
I think the scaling's kind of exaggerated as well, but it's got those huge fists. But yeah, looks very cool. Nice work, Adam.
That's amazing.
And Adam also painted up this guy. Again, just fantastic and wonderful, sort of subtle lighting from the side. You got the main light from the front, but that subtle red is kind of popping in there.
All the texture and depth on like the metal around him, like the collar, that's really cool.
Yeah. And those are eyes. Fantastic eyes.
Yeah,
beautiful work. Nice one, Adam.
Yep,
that's really cool.
Next up, Amos.
Yeah, there we go.
Just
gotta slap some transfers on those, and then they're good to go.
Yeah,
those are great. Yeah, the green eyes is the way I usually go with fists. I just think it looks good with the blue. The weathering powder is nice. Like he did a really good job with that.
Yeah. Yep.
Do you remember back when people didn't do like the weapon or eye glow?
I do. I
think it looks great. I just can't do it.
Right.
I've gotten pretty good at doing the eye glow. I think the eye glow is the easiest one to do. Back in the day, I would paint the eye white, and then I would do the whole, the classic lens, the Jess Goodwin thing, where you're like, so here's the lens, like an almond shape, and then you would paint like 60% of it, and then you would do a crescent, and then you would do a dot of white, and then a dot of white, and that's the lens. Like, so I used to do all my lenses like that. With all the effects they have now, and in order to get that glow effect, what I do is I paint. You do a black rim around the eye. Usually it's primed black. So then you paint just a white slash for the eye, and then I'll usually mix the white with whatever the color of the marine is, and just dry brush around the eye, and then you just splash like Necron glow, and that's literally, it does all the work for you. It looks like you spent hours doing it. You're like, what I did was I smudged white around the eye, and then I painted the eye white.
Yeah. Nice.
But yeah, these are great. These are the blues, the tones that he has on the blues are great.
Yeah. Working really well against the orange, of course, because of the contrasting hue. Nice
Very
one.
nice.
Good work, Amos. Next up, Brendan Bell. Brendan is working on more terrain for our Overlord, Trench Crusade Overlord weekend at the end of the month.
I'm a little concerned. I'm concerned by how much terrain he has now for your Overlord weekend. Like,
I think
Never have too much.
that at a event either later in the year or next year, they're going to run like multiple tables of.
I'm just worried Brendan can't stop. I think that's the.
He can stop anytime he wants.
Yeah, sure. Is he scratching when he tells you that? He's like, yeah, man, I can stop anytime I want. Like,
anytime he wants. But yeah, you can see here priming in the brown and then hitting them from above with gray, so you get that lovely sort of subtle reddish brown undertone there.
Very nice.
It's looking good, Brendan. I'm excited to play on it. Josh asks if it's an early start for Spray Team.
It's like Spray Team practice.
Spray Team practice for sure. But yeah, looking good. Oh, sorry, we didn't get anything from Chris this week. Sorry,
We
Kat.
just have a brown screen that says Chris Gorka Cat. That's the best we could do.
Best we could do. Sorry about that.
It's a staple.
Yep. So normally each week we have something from Cal Vanoni, but this week Cal posted up some photos painted by a relative of his. I can't remember exactly the relationship, but so David Vanoni.
I think it was his nephew. I think
it was his nephew. You could be right.
Yeah, these are great. Like I think they said he's 17 and he's been doing it for a couple of years. And
yep.
I was like, these are great. Like he's even got like the bluing and the heat damage on the flamer.
Yep. And he's definitely enjoying painting those flames on the Saturnine Terminator there.
Dude, that Saturnine Terminator is still one of the most bonkers unit out there. Like the thing is so many pieces.
Okay, so Cal has just said in the chat, his last name is not the same as mine, and it's his great nephew.
Okay.
My apologies to David, not David Vanoni, but that's what we've got on the screen at the moment.
He's an honorary Vanoni today, so
yes, I will just put David next time. But great, and then some other cool things to hear. And speaking of having some fun with OSL,
yeah, there you go
on this. This Terminator here, this
little Thousand Suns Terminator. I like that he's a Thousand Suns sorcerer Terminator with an assault cannon. That's
yeah.
Just in case Magic doesn't get the job done.
Well, it's when
they're all sorcerers, right?
Yeah.
It's that whole sorcerer with the shotgun, the wizard with the shotgun, out of spells but not out of shells.
That's right.
So, and then of course Gandalf.
Very nice.
Nice work, David. Yep. Oh, Josh. Must be a pretty great nephew.
I see what he did there.
Yes, nice one. But yeah, keep up the excellent work, David. Nice one.
Those are cool.
Next up, Sulin. Sulin posted
it was his Blanche tribute
that he did. So I think he worked on this a little while ago, but yeah, so obviously the model is a Black Templars Marshal, I think.
Yeah, that's the Jess Goodwin Black Templar Marshal.
Right, the metal one. Yep. It's great there. But on the knee pad you can see
the Medusa.
The Medusa head.
Dude, yeah. Jez is my favorite. Like, I love his stuff. His even like the sculpts that are like really dated now, they still look so good.
Yep.
Like this model still looks great. Like all the what's the other one that I like? It's still in the current range is Ezekiel.
Right.
He's got the baseball stance. Like that model is still amazing.
Yeah.
Yep. I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah. Nice one there, Sulin. Great tribute.
He's got so much detail on this. On the gun, in between the barrel and the underslung melta, he has the name is written on the gun.
All right.
Like, I mean, that gun is also nuts. I love how it's a combi melta with a scope on the top.
Oh yeah. When you got to pinpoint that melta shot.
Yeah, I really want to melt that whole wall very specifically.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Next up, so Sulin is working on some Custodes, all non-metallic metal. So this is one of the dreadnoughts.
Yeah, these models are great.
Yeah.
There's so much like detail and filigree on all the custode stuff. It's really, really nice.
Yeah.
It can be a little daunting, but it looks really cool when it's and especially when it's done right by somebody like this who's taken the time to do all the tones in between all of the embossed and like the raised pieces.
Yep. No, beautiful work there, Sulin. It's looking fantastic.
I mean, I'm just going to spray him gold, but still.
Yeah, you spray him gold in a brown wash, right?
Agrex or shade. I usually spray them brown, and then I sort of zenithal them with gold, and then I'll go back and I'll layer. But
yeah, no, that's not a look you usually see for the Custodes with the darker metallics, but I really like that a lot.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's almost like bronze or like an antique gold underneath.
Mhm.
Yeah. But beautiful work, son. Looking forward to seeing this one completed. Next up, Jim Mazzullo.
That hotel looks real. Nice work.
This is an airport.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. See a plane over in the distance there. I gotcha.
This is Entebbe Airport in Uganda. So Jim is working on this. There was a like a hostage situation there in the 70s, I think, 60s, 70s, and Jim is working on this as a to do it as a game for Hurricane, which is a historical convention down in Florida.
Nice.
You can see
They made 2 movies about it.
Oh, they did? Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a raid on Entebbe, and I forget what the last one was called. It came out, I think it had Eric Bana in it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, yeah,
Cool.
it's recent, maybe in the last 10 years.
All right. There we go. I was going to say down here, he's got a Volkswagen combi van. Can be involved in it there. But yeah, coming along, and this is some more work there done. So speaking of 3D printing, all of these buildings are printed, and then he's cutting out some blue acrylic for the windows there. Yeah, this will be pretty wild.
There's the original Raid on Entebbe in 1976, and then there's the new one 7 Days in Entebbe that came out in 2018. That one has Eric Bana.
Right. There we go.
Very cool. Though. Nice work. Blair remains undefeated when it comes to Entebbe lore.
Good job.
Yeah, just my older brother. So.
Next up, Josh Sawyer painting up some more models for Legion Imperialis.
He does love Legion Imperialis. These look great.
They do.
Like it's so funny. Like I love Leviathans. Like I said, I have like 6 of them. I think. When you see these ones, you're like, oh, they're so cute. Like they're these little like chubby like robots.
The teeny tiny Leviathans.
Yep. He's like this big.
But no, these are looking fantastic. I do.
Yeah, I love the candy apple effect he's got on the metallic for the Thousand Suns is dope.
Yeah, and this is kind of the only scale that you really want to do a Mastodon in.
Yeah, absolutely. He's like a big Matchbox car versus like like a what an 18 pack of like soda you'd buy.
I was going to say several small children, but sure. And I love that the front panel. There's the odd front panel there.
Oh yeah, you can get. I think you can get them either way. If they're rhinos, they have the 2 doors, and if it's any of the tanks, they have the 1.
Right. Yep. But no, good there, Josh. Nice one. And Josh has also been working on some Eldar.
Nice. That orange is great.
It is. So his orange Eldar were what he took to Adepticon last year when he crushed my Imperial Agents combat patrol.
Oh, nice.
Yep. Very cool. Awesome. And Kel has joined us. Welcome.
What's up, Kel?
Awesome. Cool. Okay. Nice work, Josh. I wasn't sure if Josh was still walking his dog or if he was back. But next up, Luis is continuing to show off his exciting 3D printed, basically paint organizer.
At some point, I should probably just break down and get one of these.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Excellent. But and Luis is also continuing to work on his Custodes vehicles.
Yeah, he's got I forget the names of their stuff, but yeah, he's got the big one that's the tank. The big one that's the transport, and the 2 little ones that are the tanks.
Yep, the Caladius, the little ones, and the smaller ones. They're not the smallest ones, but the big ones. I think it's the Kronos.
So, Jake, I got to ask. So, if you got one of these, you were talking about your 6 colors that you use to do highlights on red alone. Are you going to put all your colors in order, like from like darkest to lightest?
So, if you want me to be honest, part of the reason I don't have one of these is the Type A part of my brain will want me to like chromatically sort all of my colors, and I'll have to put them back in the same way every time, and that's going to drive me nuts. So right now I think I've shown you guys this. I have these things, and these are great because each one of these holds. Wait. Okay. So each one of these holds the trays that come in all the Army Painter sets. So that's all my green. That's all my green speed paint, right? So it's all the green tones, and I sorted them. I went through and sorted all the trays by color. So when I go through this, I know I'm like, oh, I need the green. So I pull out the green tray, take this and use this, and it holds all of them. Like this one is all like the blues and teals. And then that one, I have all of the boxes. So this is all purples. So this is all 6 of the purples that Arm Painter makes in the Fanatic range. So I'll go through and I'll pull out all the stuff that I'm working on. And then on the top, I have all the metallics, all the effects, all the shades. And then my blanch sets are here because they're separate. But that's been good because every time I have a project to work on, like the guys I'm working on now, I came down here kind of with like a shopping list, and I go through and I take out all the stuff that I want. And then when I'm done, I'll put them all back in the right boxes so that when I work on the next project, I can come back down here and kind of shop for all the stuff that I need. It helps. Yeah, Cal says OCD is a benefit, not a bug. It's a feature, not a bug. Got it. But yeah, I think if I got this, like just looking at Luis's, if I went to his house, I'd start sorting this. Like it would drive me crazy.
I'm just trying to think if I'm looking for that blue. Like it's almost like a Where's Waldo.
Yeah.
Yeah. In a perfect world, I would have like it. And my basement down here is big. Like this is my sort of my home office man cave thing. If it was bigger, I would have a whole GW rack, a whole Army Painter rack, and I would have everything where it goes. Because like we have kids come in now and they'll go, hey, I need this color, or like I'll have a customer come in that's working on, Warhammer, and they're like, I need Retributor Gold. And I'm like, it's on the left rack. It's like the 7th row down. It's in the middle. And they're like, how do you know? And I was like, because I've looked at that rack probably 30 times and I know where all the colors are.
Yep. I know that if anybody really looked at my desk when my paints are, that people would like their minds would explode. But I do know, just like Malev said to his defense, he may know exactly where that blue is.
Probably.
Yep.
Yeah, you can like pick a color, Jake. Just it's like
rough iron. Rough
what's
iron.
My favorite brown.
What's up?
What's my currently favorite brown?
Oh, Banshee brown. Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Oh,
Without looking, did he get it?
Hey, that's good.
I know that rough iron is not on my table.
Yeah, see, I use rough iron a lot.
Heavy metal's here, but mithril is over here.
All right, where's death metal?
Death metal? I don't have death metal on here.
All right, see.
I just use those two.
Again, give him a level.
Yeah, how many times Dave could pull the right paint without looking?
Gunmetal's here, but I don't use it.
Yeah, Malev, this will have to be the next game we design. It'll be like memory, but find that paint.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my God.
Brought to you by Army Painter.
100%.
Yep, exactly. And as Cal says as well, different brains like different ways of organizing. But I am glad that this is working for you, Luis. Keeps that workspace nice and clean. Excellent. Next up,
That's
Mark
cool.
Maxey. Mark's been working on this very cool personal sculpt. Excellent backdrop that he's painted. Very
Geigery.
Yeah. He's actually finished this off in between posting this one and today. I didn't get the finished shot into the slideshow. So folks can head to our Facebook group, BuildPaintPlay Community. Click the join button. Somebody will let you in. But you can check out Mark's finished piece there. And of course, we'll show it off next week as well. But
right on. Yeah. Well, I'm definitely excited. That happens. He does it every week. I feel like deliberately. He sends you a photo and then he'll do more. And then he's like, "Oh, I did an update." We're like, "Oh, we didn't get it in time."
Yep. But yeah, there we go. I said yes. Did base it off the aliens.
Nice.
Well, some kind of secreted resin. Yeah, but secreted from what? Fantastic. Awesome. But yeah, and as Josh says there, yeah, the backdrop really sells it. Awesome stuff.
Cool. Louis said he's going to sort them out. And see, Malev gets it. Malev said he runs the paint and take and uses both mega sets and every blanch set and the OCD I have to deal with every time I put it all back, knowing which blanch paint is from which set and tray. I have no idea what to do with this information I have. So, like, that's why Kat always loves when I go off on like random tangents about random stuff that I still remember. Like, I have gigs of data in here that I'm like, I don't know how helpful this is, but I have it. So
yeah. Excellent. But Mark, beautiful job. Excellent. Next up, Mike Radcliffe.
That's beautiful. That takes me back right there.
Yep. Nice. So this awesome Land Raider.
So classic Jess Goodwin sculpt. He's used all like the vehicle accessory trays. So if you look to the left side, just behind the last cannons, there's the Terminator marking.
Oh, the
Terminatus, and then he's got the eagle in front of the doors. The only flaw that I see is that the door is in front of.
Yeah. The exit doors are in front of the last cannons.
You can't do that. That's you don't want your Space Marines to get out and have them get cut in half, or have the last cannons stop firing. So, he also has like he has the Crux Terminatus, the veteran Land Raider door.
So yeah, this is a Forge World.
That was a Forge World kit, I think.
Yeah, it was. Yep, Forge World upgrade.
But very cool.
Yeah,
this thing's great.
Nice.
It's got that like Minotaurs paint scheme.
This is actually it's looking a bit bronzy, but it's actually gold.
Okay.
And it's got fantastic work with the decals on the top here as well.
Yeah.
Really good.
It's such a nice kit. I think I still have 3 of these kicking around somewhere.
Oh. But Mike also painted up the
hover version. That's just a straight up repulsor
there with the las Talon and the las cannons.
Yep, very nice.
The pencil mounted Gatling.
Yeah, you got to do the Gatling gun. That thing Dave and I played together. That thing throws out so many shots.
Yep, it does. It does, absolutely. But yeah, looking really good here, Mike. Loving it. But yeah, you can see the gold look here from above.
Very nice.
Yeah, awesome. Very cool. Nice one, Mike.
I do like that chapter badge. It's like a winged lion.
Yep. It's almost Yep. So
at first I thought it was a Lamasu, like the Babylonian, like it's like a lion with a guy's head. It's almost like a sphinx.
But
it's
not a liger.
No, I'm pretty sure that's just a straight up lion, winged lion. It looks like. Oh, is it a manticore? It could be a manticore.
Manticore.
That makes more sense.
I knew that there had to be a like mythical beast, but yeah, nice one. Thanks for that, Josh.
Cool.
Excellent work, Mike. Next up, Patrick. Patrick's been working on some terrain. Painted up these Mordheim ruins. Fantastic.
That's awesome. I like the black backdrop, so you're like, oh, he's in the night. Like, that's really cool.
Yep. It's dark and it's creepy. But yeah, looking very cool there, Patrick. And Patrick's also painted up the some of the terrain from the City of Ash. Is that what it's called?
Yep. You can buy a house in this town cheap.
Cheap. I don't know.
It's a fixer upper.
But yeah, but no, these look really cool as well. All this extra detailed.
Yeah, that whole kit is super cool. Like all the stuff in that box is great.
Yep, excellent. Oh, Patrick's here in the chat. Said yeah, because I didn't have enough 40K to work on.
Yeah, seriously.
Yep. There we go. Okay, Dave almost just half off.
Yeah, there you go.
But looking very cool there, Patrick. And Patrick's painted up some of his steel helms for Seas of Sigma.
Yeah, I sent you that. Have you done anything with those guys? I sent you all the The Sigmar half of that?
Not yet.
There's no rush. I was just like, I know how fast you are, so I was like, you're like, oh yeah, I already added another 1,000 points to it.
No. Sadly, I'm been super busy, but yeah. No, I will get to them.
They're nice models. They have a ton of character.
They do so much. But beautiful Fair Patrick, looking great. Next up, Sean Gleason. Sean gave us a so this is a rundown of all of his the characters from his Lumineth.
Yeah, Lumineth Realm Lords. Man, that's the worst name ever. Like,
I'm not even gonna try it.
So it was like, oh, they're the High Elves, and they're like, no, we that's generic. We can't copyright that. Let's call them the Lumineth Realm Lords. And I was like, whoever thought of that at GWHQ, they should have been like, no, Ricky, get back to your desk. We're not calling them that. Like,
I think they probably started with the Lumineth Edgelords, but
yeah, oh god, some of the models in this range are incredible. Like, they're really cool. But yeah, I'm like, they're the High Elves. Like, I'm not calling them the Lumineth Realm Lords. That's awful.
But I know that Sean has had a huge amount of fun with the colors on these.
Yeah. It's very like Harlequin-esque.
Yeah. It's got a lot of saturated colors through there, but not every model has all the colors.
Yeah.
So
there's a tie-in to every model.
Yeah, there's a again, it's that yarn sort of wound between them all, tying them together. But yeah, really nice there, Sean. Great one. Glad we can see that.
The guy in the front middle with the sword, the green sword.
Right. Yep.
I think that's the Light of Athelion. He's like a spirit ghost. He's like a spirit elf.
Right.
And the sculpting is cool. The way that they did it, like, there's like, so he has a Vambrance that's like floating. Yep. And then there's like a bit of cloth from his cape that's touching it. And then he has his like armor. So there's no body in the suit.
There's no body inside the armor. Yeah.
It's a really, really neat sculpt, the way they did that.
Yeah. No, awesome stuff there, Sean. And Sean also shared his War Machine that he's been painting recently. So the Signar, the blue.
Yeah, those are all Signar.
Signar.
Those are old Signar. Those are all metal models. I can tell by looking at them.
Feel the weight.
Excellent. Yeah, nice one, Sean. Very cool. Next up, Stephen Ryder.
Some more squats.
Going back old school.
Those are old school.
Yeah, some of them.
Those are the old metal ones.
They're metal. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. I love this guy, the goofy guy on the right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So cool.
Actually, I think they're all the same model, but because he's changed the angle on that gun, you get to see his whole face, so it's not just hunkered down over the.
Yeah, if I remember that, was the right arm with the gun plastic?
I think the gun was plastic, and yeah, actually the arms might have been, but actually they might have been cast onto the model in metal, and then the.
Yeah, I think this arm like this is metal, but I think this arm is plastic with the gun, and I think it was a mixed material kit. I think
possibly
maybe one of the first ones. Yeah.
But
because a lot of the Space Marines were like that, they had like plastic arms and backpacks, but the models were metal.
Yeah.
Oh, both arms and gun.
Right.
Saying.
There we go. Cool. But yeah,
yes, you could pose them a little bit. You had a little bit of kind of play.
Yeah. Nice work there, Steven.
Those are cool. I love the backpack on the guy on the left.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
That's it. Like it's like the proto Space Marine backpack, basically.
Yeah. But Steven also shared this guy.
Hatchling, nice.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, I love the work on the egg as well. That's great stuff there. Excellent. Dave Hummel has to leave us. Says thank you, Dave. Thank you, Jake, Blair. Thank you, Army Painter. Great work this week, everyone.
Take it easy, Dave.
Take it easy.
We're wrapping up in a minute, so you're not missing out on that much.
Cool. And finally, Tommy Sewell.
I owned that model.
So Tommy, this is Tommy's second version of it. When he posted this on his Instagram page. I think he posted the original one that he did years ago, decades ago, and then this one that he's updated with his current level of skills.
The sword looks amazing.
Yeah, the sword's on the skull, the gold skull on the shoulder, and the horns. The fading on the horns is awesome.
Yep.
I think the one that I did storm blue for his like robes, and then I did the whole old school like heavy metal lines like on all the raised edges. I was so proud of myself.
Excellent. Yep. But beautiful beautiful work there on that I'm loving that reflection.
Yeah, it's really good.
The
old school, the goblin green base. God, you gotta love it.
Just popping that goblin green base on it. It's just incredible. So
it tells you exactly what time period you're looking at when you see that. You're like, oh, okay, I know what this is from.
Yeah,
that's bilious green dry brushed over top of goblin green.
Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, Tommy's got some of the I can't remember who's making it, but yeah, it's the old colors have been basically redone. So
is it War Color in Poland? I think.
I don't think it's War Color, but I'll find out. And we'll mention it next week. But Cal's asking,
who sculpted this one?
I think this is probably a Jez.
Is this Jez?
I think so. I could be wrong, but So from what edition? This is from. This is probably.
Oh
God, the 3rd edition Warhammer.
Yeah, I think so.
So this would be probably.
I think third.
Mid to late 80s. There we go. Brent is suggesting Nostalgia 95.
Okay. Or something like that.
Like that. Doing the paints. But yeah, looking very cool there, Tommy.
That's awesome.
Nice one. And there we go. That's us. Yep, we haven't finalized what we're doing for next week's show. Jake and I have got to have a chat about that after the show. Yep. But we will let you know as soon as we know. But fantastic.
Oh, Sean, I don't know if he is. That'd be cool. Like that'd be the perfect model for it. But
Sean, is he entered in the Olden Demon? I think that he might have entered him. It might have painted him up before that. So, but yeah, very cool. Excellent. Okay. That brings us to the end of the show.
Well, Blair, listen, thanks for being here, man. It was awesome having you on and kind of walking down memory lane and kind of getting to reminisce about some stuff. If anybody wants to see
I feel honored. Thanks for having me.
Oh, for sure, man. If anyone wants to see any of the one-page rule stuff, Dave has it in the show notes. Obviously, you can look it up on their website as well. Down below, we have the code for you can use our code to save money on buying Army Painter stuff on the Army Painter website. Use our code BPD5.
Build paint.
Make sure you guys spread the word. If anybody's going to be up north of the border and you're going to be in Canada, definitely swing by and see us at the show. We'll be at GameCon Canada and we'll be at Maple Games on Thursday night. That'll be up also everywhere else, but we'll post it again. If you guys need anything, make sure you hit us up. Let us know. Do not forget to let us know what you're working on. Dave and I think we're going to come up with a challenge for 11th edition of projects we want everybody to kind of work on. We're all going to pick a faction and see what we can do and kind of chip away at it or something like that. We'll talk about that. But yeah, otherwise take care of yourself. Anything else you guys want to add or anything else we need?
No, I'm just going to say, Blair, hang on a second. Hang on till after the show. We'll do the same outro as we did the intro. Yep. Wrap up there. But otherwise,
all right.
Blair, did you have anything you wanted to wrap up with?
No, I just again wanted to thank you guys for having me on. It was fun. I'm not a expert painter. I'm not a game designer, but I've met some pretty cool people and so it has cool stories. So it was fun catching up with you guys.
No worries, man. All right, everybody, be safe. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Be careful out there. And as always, do not forget to build, paint, play.
Shut up and sit down.